Monday and welcome to the Sporty Show. We hope you had a lovely weekend, another busy weekend of football. It was. I am your host, Sarah Pararia, joined by the one and only
KlintonCod. Yes, as usual. Sarah, can I give you a challenge quickly?
Do I have to get up?
No.
Okay, thank God.
Introduce me in a different way.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the worst player you've ever seen from Luton Town. He's not a striker, but he claims to be KlintonCod.
All right, no, let's just take the first one you introduced.
You were asking for it.
I'm pretty much happy with the first one. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen.
You introduced me in a different way.
Okay, all right, okay. But you know, I've not even, at least, let me speak something about myself and then I'll come to you. If I had introduced you, then you would have had the right to say, introduce me in a different way. You don't even know how I'm going to introduce you.
But you
Maybe it may have been different.
You always start off.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What do you mean? Bro, I'm speaking to ladies and gentlemen. Am I speaking to aliens? Come on,
in
man.
In the comments, doesn't Clinton always start like
With
that?
I mean, come on, guys. Which other way do you want me to? Okay, you know what? All the guys watching. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what I was saying, man. Yeah, welcome to the Sporty Show as usual. It's your boy KlintonCod. We are here to have fun as usual. And next to me, yeah, you said I should introduce you in a different way.
Can we get through the intro? Maybe not even. We'll be here all day.
Wait. I wanna figure out something. Okay, right. Let's go on with the show, man.
Alex Ashmore.
Yes, I think he got it. No, what do you mean? That was my way of introducing him, man. Like, I've done it. Wait, did you like that intro, though? So basically, I didn't want...
better.
No, but
you didn't even introduce me.
No, but I did. But I just didn't want to say your name. God, you got to be creative, man. I wanted Sarah to help me with the name.
So by your definition of creative, getting someone else to do it for you.
Yeah, but that's the creativity, man.
I suppose.
All right. Well, we have a busy show for you guys today. Lots to talk about. We have FA Cup to look back on. LaLiga title race continues to heat up. The Serie A is getting crazy, but here's what's coming up this week on Sporty TV. And guess what? The Copa Libertadores is back. Starting off this evening, we have Cádiz and Eibar in LaLiga Hypermotion. Zhejiang taking on Shenzhen, Armenia and Leverkusen in the DFB Pokal. And the first CONMEBOL Libertadores match is Carabobo versus Estudiantes. On Wednesday, we have Nagaoka versus Yokohama, Tianjin versus Beijing, Stuttgart versus Leipzig, and Vélez versus Peñarol. On Thursday, we have EuroLeague basketball action with Real Madrid versus Paris, and back to the Libertadores for Sporting versus Palmeiras. On Friday, we have Táchira versus Flamengo, Brisbane versus MacArthur. Ronaldo and Al Hilal go head-to-head with Al Hilal taking on Al Nasser, and Blackburn Rovers versus Middlesbrough in the EFL Championship. All right, very busy Saturday here because we have Yokohama taking on Tokyo, Adelaide versus Sydney, Luton Town, Clinton's former side, taking on Leeds, West Ham versus Bournemouth in the Premier League this weekend, and in the Bundesliga, it's Werder Bremen taking on Frankfurt. And we have a big one here for La Liga. Barcelona will host Real Betis, a very tasty one. Sunday sees Sarmiento versus River Plate, Hiroshima versus Osaka, the Shanghai Derby, Levante versus Racing in La Liga Hypermotion, and in Greece, it's Panathinaikos taking on AEK, and we wrap it all up in Argentina with Boca Juniors taking on Barracas. So lots and lots of football this week coming to you all on Sporty TV, so make sure you don't miss it. But here's what's coming up on today's show.
Coming up on the Sporty Show, we have a full weekend of football to unpack. First, we'll take you through the Sporty TV derby, Real Madrid versus Leganés, everything you need to know about the FA Cup, and all the action in Serie A. And of course, we have the booking codes for you. Stay tuned.
Yes, so a lot to get into, but we did just hear from Chantal, who is joining us and will be reading all of your comments. Hello, Chantal.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Clinton and Alex. Yes, I'll be reading all the comments. So go ahead and let me know what's happening. Send all your feedbacks. I'll be picking the best ones, of course.
Now, Chantal, I'm just happy with the fact that you went through all. Wait, but I mean, she said hi, Sarah, hi, Clinton.
No, the way it's just I couldn't even hold it together. She said, "Hi, Sarah. Hi, Clinton." Like the way her voice changed.
No, because she said it because maybe she knows Clinton would always come up with something really hot. She was like, you know what, let me just calm it down a bit with pronouncing his name. Exactly. No, I know your strategies and tactics. It's not going to work though because I'm coming for you, Chantel.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, Chantal, we'll be jumping back and forth with you guys. Make sure you drop your comments on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're watching, and Chantal will get to the juiciest ones there. So drop what you're thinking about the show and everything we get into. And gentlemen, there's only one place to start here, and that's right here in Madrid, as Real Madrid beat Leganés 3-2 this weekend in La Liga. Clinton, you and I were at the Santiago Bernabeu in this one, and a lot of controversy. But the first one has to be not so controversial, because we do have to give our kudos to Leganés and that beautiful shirt that they were wearing at the Santiago Bernabeu. Their third kit with the Sporty TV, all black with the details of the Italian flag there. We got a collar.
Yep.
It did look lovely.
I mean, I'm so surprised that we still don't have our copies just yet because I want to rock that jersey playing my next game in Madrid. Obviously, you know, the one where we play with the amateurs, you know, which I think we need to upgrade because you know, I'm beginning to find these games really easy, but I want to be wearing a Sporty TV shirt. That black one, the black jersey was just too beautiful. I don't know if I'm allowed to use the word sexy. It was really, really, and the fact that it was just boldly written literally at that end, you know, that front. And, you know, you took a picture of the goalkeeper as well for Leganés, and he was wearing the orange shirt, which, you know, but like I said, it would have been nice if they came out with a win wearing that jersey, which I thought they would, because, like I said, anything that involves KlintonCod, there's always some kind of win that comes with it, you know. Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't win the game.
Unfortunately, they didn't win the game for themselves, for maybe Sporty. But, Alex, this one was a close affair. Once again, Leganés giving Real Madrid a push for sure. And maybe some controversial calls in this one that we have to talk about. First of all, let's start with Kylian Mbappe's penalty. Was it a penalty, Alex? I know, because you know, when I ask you, I always know that there's going to be some strategic, you know, answer worked out here. But
that's why he's not going straight to answering it. You see, that's the thing about Alex. Alex has to, you know, obviously he's an Englishman. He has to construct, make it sweet, make it nice, you know, think about how to make sure he's not. Alex, was it a penalty or was it not a penalty?
Well,
answer.
Oh, not well. That's scary.
Please, whatever you say, I don't want to hear perhaps. Yeah, just. Okay.
Maybe. No, if you want my honest opinion, I don't think it was a penalty. I think it was a tangle of bodies. Football's a contact sport. You're always going to get stuff like that. I don't think the defender, I think, was it Diego Garcia?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think, one, he didn't mean any malice by it. He wasn't fouling Arda G. I don't think the contact was initiating a foul in any way. Yes, they came together, and yes, Arda G could argue that if he hadn't have come together with Diego Garcia, that he could have gone on to maybe pick up the ball and create an opportunity. But I think on this one, I think the ref got it wrong.
Really quickly on Arda G, because we were speaking about this earlier. What were your thoughts? He was obviously given the start by Ancelotti. We haven't seen much of him this season, obviously, for Real Madrid, but there's always talks of, you know, his potential and everything he's done internationally for Turkey. But what were your thoughts from him, you know, getting the pull in, what, the 60th minute or so as well?
Yeah, I don't think that would have done much good for his confidence. I think when you look at what's been going on in the last 2-3 weeks in the world of Arda G and his impressive international break with Turkey and how obviously returning to a team where he is one of the main men in that midfield and how he takes on a completely different role when he puts on that Turkey shirt. And then when he plays for Real Madrid, it's a different player. It's a different role, obviously different players. It's a different team. It would make sense. But we don't quite see the man that we do see on the international stage for Turkey. And I was disappointed with perhaps how he didn't take or make the most of his opportunity. Yes, the argument's there that when you play so sporadically like he has been, it's hard to take those moments because you don't have that run of games to get that form. And I think, I do really believe if you give him that run of games and you play him often, he will perform, and we've seen it. But unfortunately, at the top level, you don't have that luxury of having 3 or 4 games to get into the swing of things and then pick up your form. You have to perform from minute one.
I agree. And especially at that level with all, a team of superstars, it's hard to really make your break and get into that lineup consistently.
Sorry, Sarah.
Don't be.
I know this question, if it was just for Alex, but I really
talk
want
to
to say
me.
something about Arda
Well, first of all, were you happy with my answer?
Not really. I mean,
Oh, jeez, you can't do anything right.
my
Wait,
sig-
before you talk about Arda Güler, was it a penalty or not, Clinton?
it wasn't a penalty to me.
Okay.
As much as I love Real Madrid, sometimes I feel like, it's always good to just get some things right. I felt like that was too harsh. I don't know if that went on VAR, because we were in the game. I couldn't see if the referee went there to check.
Well, I think everything goes through VAR. I mean, obviously they're watching upstairs and the referee
I know,
has an earpiece,
I
but
know,
he didn't have to go to his little.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
monitor.
But for me, I felt like I was waiting for him to go to the monitor, because anybody who was in that VAR side should have been looking at it to say, hang on. Is there any kind of contact that means they have to bring the ball back, to have that penalty? Or is there something to say, okay, ref, please go check it yourself and see if this is what's making the final call, But I don't think it went to that point. And this is the kind of decision where I feel like they should be having that deliberation, where they should be saying to the ref, please go check it out, see what you think. Maybe the ref could have gone there and changed his mind. But they literally just looked at it and said, you know what? Penalty.
Yeah.
I looked at that stuff again. I don't think that I've seen way worse stuff that have not been given penalty. That stuff was literally just two players getting in each other's way. Like
What Alex said, it was
in my
just a
opinion.
tangle.
Sorry, Alex. It's just that you see when you speak when you become
wasn't
British.
listening, it's-
No, I was listening, but obviously when you're British,
No,
sometimes
what you mean is I said it so well that you just couldn't help it as well.
Okay, I would accept that. Okay,
Thank
so you were right, but yeah, I just don't think it was a penalty. Now coming back to Arda Güler.
Oh.
Arda Güler, right? I don't want to be very harsh. I feel like he's refusing to grow up with Real Madrid,
In what sense?
in the sense that he's refusing to take matters into his hands, irrespective of what is going to cost him. And remember, I would always tell you the difference between the mindset of Arda Güler compared to Endrick, right? Because both of them are pretty much very young players. These are guys who have come to a Real Madrid full of stars. These are guys who have come to a Real Madrid that, in my opinion, they are not even needed at this point, at least. Literally, they are not getting into the start of that Real Madrid first team. So if you are given the opportunity, I keep saying it, you need to man up. You need to literally say, bro, this is the lifetime opportunity. We've seen it with Endrick. Endrick, like I said, and I'll keep saying this. If there was a slight chance that, say, Kylian Mbappe had been in Real Madrid for a considerable amount of time, and maybe he was in that point where he's about to maybe retire or he's about to leave, I'm telling you that with everything he's been doing for Real Madrid, he would have been getting starts already. And maybe whoever the striker, say for example, Kylian Mbappe at age 36, for example, he will be coming on at, let's say, maybe 80 minutes or 75 minutes. Just to, obviously, he's still a player. But if Arda Güler, with all he's done for Turkey, I mean, that's the reason why he got signed to Real Madrid in the first place. It was because of how prolific he was for his country. By now, I would have been expecting that he should be getting the stats, especially over a Luka Modric. I'm not saying Luka Modric, does not deserve stats. We understand he's a legend of the club.
You make a good point, though, there. Saturday, Arda Güler was playing on the right-hand side. That's not his best position. I think many people would say it, Carlo Ancelotti has said it, that his best position is that number 10 role. Unfortunately, Jude Bellingham plays in that position, and Jude Bellingham's not getting dropped.
No, definitely not.
So there has to be some slack given there that he's not playing in his natural position. Yes, he has and can play on the right, but his best position is in behind the striker.
But I think it's also what Clinton is saying is the fact that, compared to Endrick, the confidence isn't there. Endrick, whenever he comes on, shows this, level of confidence that he's willing to take those chances. And that's why I think he's getting more playing time, because Carlo Ancelotti can see. Now, you can argue for Arda Güler that confidence also comes with playing time as well, but Endrick is not getting much playing time either. We see him come on maybe for the last 10 minutes, maybe sometimes even the last 2-3 minutes.
No, absolutely.
But he's making the most of his situation. I think for me with Arda Güler is that if by next season, with the changes that Real Madrid make over the summer, if it doesn't look like he's going to break into that starting 11, I maybe would consider a loan for him, because he is that young and we've seen so much potential with him. You need to be playing week in and week out. Otherwise, it could be a career-defining moment.
I think a loan could do wonders for him.
Yeah.
I think if he goes, and we heard the rumours that Inter Milan were interested in him, I think AC as well. If you think about a move for a player like him, there's no doubt that he can perform on the big stage. There's no doubt he can take control of a game and be that main man. We've seen it with Turkey. If you put him in a team like AC Milan, I'd say probably AC Milan need him a little bit more than Inter Milan. But if you look at what that could do for his confidence, like you said, playing week in, week out against tough opposition. The Serie A is a tough league to play in. Mm-hmm. It would help him no end. He would grow up, he would mature. He's already a mature player, but I think it would do him the world of good.
Sir, I think sometimes we need to understand what the problem with Arda G is before even talking about loans. If there's any player whom I think should be going on loan at this point, it's even Hendrik. Mm-hmm. Why? Because we understand that Hendrik has the willpower. Mm-hmm. Hendrik knows what he wants. Hendrik knows what he wants to do. Hendrik at that age is manning up. But the only problem, like I said, there is no way Hendrik is going to get a start over any of the front fours.
Yeah.
For Real Madrid. He's not going to start over an Mbappe or a Vinicius, assuming he plays the wing, or a Rodrigo, or a Belling. Like, it's not going to happen. But what I'm saying here for Arda G is the fact that we have somebody who should be watching him from the bench and saying, okay, you know what? It's not happening for you. Let me come in. See, in all ramification, Arda G should be in that starting 11. But the reason why he's not is because they don't trust him well enough. My man he doesn't have the confidence. Now, if he goes to the club you just mentioned, AC Milan, what makes you think he's going to become the Arda G? Listen, let me tell you what I would do if I was Arda G. I don't know if this is something that they say to him in the training, where they say, no, you can't do this or you can't do that. But I'm sure they'll be saying the same thing to Hendrik. I've given you guys a very typical example of something that happened with Hendrik in a game where he was in with a Vinicius Junior and a Kylian Mbappe, where he took a shot. He refused to pass. For me, listen, the reason why people don't speak about it is only because he scored. If he hadn't scored a goal, do you know what we'll be speaking about today? Ancelotti would have been saying, you're not getting the opportunity again. But my man took matters in his own hands. At that age, right now, I'm not even going to blame, I'm not going to say, Arda G, you're too young. Bro, we've seen young, look at Lamine Yamal. Arda G and Lamine Yamal, who is older? Look at what he's doing for Barcelona. You know what I mean? Like,
Lamine Yamal is a bit of like those anomalies, though. We don't really see that.
No. Listen, Sarah, listen, I don't know how to explain this to you, but Arda G is talented.
I know.
My man has got talent, but let me tell you what the problem is. The problem is he's scared of doing the kind of things that if he goes wrong, they might come for his head. He understands he plays for a big team, and you have to be very careful. But when you play for a big team also, you've got to start understanding that, bro, listen, this is a lifetime opportunity. I need to start making my mark. I need to start putting my foot in this club. I need to start saying, I want to start. I want to be in that first 11. I give an example. We saw some of the goals he scored for Turkey, where he doesn't even need to go into the 18-yard box. He tries. He uses his left foot. My man is swinging it to literally the left-hand corner of a goalpost, and he's scoring. Why can't he not do it for Real Madrid? Why? Because if he does this and he hits the goalpost or he goes up, they're going to come for his neck. This is not the mindset Hendrik has. Hendrik does not care. We've seen Hendrik take crazy shots. My man is scoring some of them, but at least people know that he has something. If there's anybody that will go to any club on loan right now and is going to perform, I tell you for free, it's going to be Hendrik. Arda G needs to find his confidence. Arda G needs to start telling himself that, listen, in as much as the whole world is watching me, is it that good or bad? I hope it goes good for me. Mm-hmm. And start doing... Alex, you said it here, that my man in training is crazy. Mm. That he's one of the best players in training. Because I remember if you guys don't know, Alex usually watches, Real Madrid trainings very often. And he comes to tell me secretly, sorry, I'm giving out a secret, live on TV. He says, Arda G is one of the best players you could watch in training. But why do we not see it on the pitch? Why? Because he has thousands of people watching him. And maybe they've told him or they've warned him. I don't know what's going on, but he's capable of it. Because when he goes to play for his country, he's a whole totally different player. All those things that he's scared of doing in Real Madrid, my man is doing it day in, day out in Turkey. The question is, why do you not bring it to Real Madrid? If he goes on loan, what makes you think that he's going to do exactly that same thing?
I think it would be the confidence thing, because he's lacking. He's got the skill. There's no denying that. He's lacking severely in the confidence to do the things you're talking about. Take those long shots, take on players, do the skills, the tricks. If he goes out on loan and plays week in, week out at a team at a high level and gets that confidence back, scores goals, creates assists, that will do him the world of good. Coming back to Real Madrid, he'll think, look what I did last season. I belong here. I can do that at the top level. I think playing week in, week out somewhere would give him it would help him no end when it comes to confidence, and he would come back a bigger player.
How do you get to start playing week in, week out?
Perform.
Exactly.
But I think if you put him in a lesser team than Real Madrid, no offence to AC Milan, they're a massive team. They're the second most Champions League trophies or European trophies in the history of football. You put him in a team like that, I'm not saying it has to be that, you put him in a team like Chelsea or Arsenal, maybe not Arsenal, but Tottenham Hotspur. He gets in those teams. He's a starter. He's a guaranteed starter.
Do you know what the crazy thing is? All these teams you're mentioning, right? These are English fans, you know. The difference between English fans and Athletic fans, you know, but all of them, they're all in the same WhatsApp group. I'm talking about these are terrorists, yeah? You think if he goes there and he wants to start showing this kind of behavior, like I said, it's finding a confidence. It's not about which club he goes to. This club you're mentioning,
no, but I think
these are crazy.
These clubs, yes, they're massive clubs, but I think the player that Arda Güler is, he gets in Tottenham Hotspur's starting lineup every day of the week.
Facts, yes, I agree.
There's a load of teams in the Premier League, in the Serie A, in the Bundesliga, even in La Liga as well. He's not going to go on loan to another La Liga side. But if you put him in a Chelsea side, a Tottenham side, probably not Man City or Man United because they've got players in that position. You put him in one of those big sides in the Premier League, even a Brighton or a Fulham, a Bournemouth, a Brentford, you put him in those sides, you put him in an AC Milan side, he gets in that side and is starting every week.
I mean, in as much as he gets the starts in all the different clubs, I still feel like he needs to start from the foundation already. I don't think it's about getting the starts. All the opportunities that he's been given in Real Madrid, so far so good, I don't think he seems to be taking them. And if he's going to go to these sites that you've just mentioned, I feel like he's still going to be the Arda Güler that you still see right now. That's lacking. We've seen what English teams are like. We've seen how critical these people are. We've seen not just the fans, but even the coach. Like, you will see the pressure that's even in the Premier League. And I feel like if any...
Even in Turkey as well. You look at the pressure, yes, we don't see it because obviously the worldwide attention isn't on the Turkish team.
Exactly. That's why the pressure, it's not going to be compared to the ones that we see week in, week out.
He performed week in, week out for Fenerbahce.
But can I tell you why?
Thing.
Sometimes, can you when you want to make the differences between these countries you've mentioned, right? When was the last time you watched a game in Turkey?
Not too recently, I think.
But do you know the funny thing? Right? I mean, I want to speak like a human being now, not even as a spectator or a player or whatever, right? But I think my mindset when I'm playing at the Bernabeu, right, will be different from if I'm playing for Fenerbahce, for example. Because the truth is, whether we like it or not, the amount of people whose attention are in an average game in Real Madrid is probably like 6 times more than what you would have in Fenerbahce.
But I would say the focus is more on him week in, week out. You see how the Turkish league, the atmosphere in the Turkish league, we talk about Mourinho being the one who's bringing the spotlight to it. It's another story for another day, but the amount of pressure that those clubs and those fans get, or those players get from the fans. When Mourinho arrived, it was like a new president had been elected in a country.
Yes, absolutely.
There were thousands of people lining the street.
Yeah.
The pressure individually he got at Fenerbahce, I think would have been more than when he was at Real Madrid because it's all on him. He was the main man in that Fenerbahce team. He was their star player. When he plays for Turkey, he's the one. Yes, there are other fantastic players in that Turkey squad, but he is one of the main men in that Turkey team. I think, yes, he does get a lot of attention playing at Real Madrid, but I don't think the focus is on him as much because you've got Vinny, you've got Mbappe, you've got Bellingham, Rodrigo, Brahim, the list goes on. I think they get the brunt of the hard yards from the press. He does get criticism, but I think when he's at a Fenerbahce or Turkey, he's that main man that gets focused on a lot more.
Honestly, in my opinion, I think Arda Güler, in as much as he's got the talent, but I don't think he's in that mental, he has that mental capacity to be in a team like Real Madrid. Hence why I feel his confidence is still not getting to the point where I believe he should be getting to at this point. Like I said, I would always compare him to an Endrick. And mind you, Alex, the pressure on Endrick, when you consider the wings that each of them play, you know that the pressure is meant to be on Endrick. You know that.
But because he also does play through the middle.
He plays. But it's not just about playing in the middle. Arda Güler is more of the guy who's behind a striker. But when you look at Endrick type of play, Endrick is literally what Kylian Mbappe does. We're talking about somebody who is in front of goal and is expected to score, right? And in my opinion, when you look at how much criticism Nicholas Jackson has, right? Why does he come under criticism? It's only because he does not score the goals that he's expected to score. However, people tend not to see the hard work that he does from when he comes behind, when he comes from midfield to come get the ball. No, it's a compliment, actually. I'm not going to lie. Like, for real, I've seen Nicholas Jackson. My man works hard on the pitch. Nicholas Jackson is actually a great player. He just doesn't score goal. And the reason, sorry, Sarah, hold on. The reason why everybody hates him is the fact that the job you've been given, you're not doing it. But the job that you've not been given, you're doing it perfectly, hence people don't see it. But do I see it? Of course I do see it. If he was scoring the goal, maybe he would have been in the conversation of best strikers in England.
All right. Well, now that the Arda G show's over, let's circle right back around to Leganés and Real Madrid. Got a little carried away there. Clinton, the third goal for Real Madrid. First of all, let's track back a bit. So Kylian Mbappe scores the penalty, whether it's a penalty or not. And then Leganés, after playing the first, half an hour really poorly, they were sitting back, they looked nervous, they were letting Real play with the ball, which is something you can never do against Real Madrid, because if you let them take their chances, they're going to find the back of the net at some point, right? I was thinking this is looking bad for Leganés. Kylian Mbappe scores that penalty, and Leganés all of a sudden has a fire lit under them. And they score not one within a minute to respond, but two. And it was just an incredible response from the team. And then we see halftime. Jude Bellingham then starts the second half by scoring, which was obviously unfortunate for Leganés. But it was looking like, okay, this is a draw. It's 2-2. It's a cagey affair. It was looking like, okay, this is going to be a great game. And then we see a foul called against Renato Tapia. And a yellow card. And a free kick was awarded, which then Kylian Mbappe converted. A beautiful free kick. We have to give him that.
That was not a free kick, though.
But that was never a free kick.
And
a yellow card on top of it. Well, I'm not even looking at Real Madrid. One thing I want to ask you guys, because I go to every home Leganés match here. Leganés are the most unlucky team in LaLiga by a long shot. Yes, we can talk about the LaLiga refereeing, and we have, obviously there's so many changes that need to be had, and just so much improvement that needs to be done. And we see it happen week in and week out. But every match I watch for Leganés, there are calls towards them that are simply just unforgiving. And I think this happened again against Real Madrid, and obviously Real Madrid of their stature. But it almost feels like the referees just don't respect Leganés as a team. This foul, to me, I was thinking, how is this being called? And I really felt bad for Leganés in this situation, because they were doing their best. You could see them getting tired at the end. They were trying to imagine they get a draw against a team like Madrid at the Bernabeu, right? That's amazing for them. Real Madrid would have been kicking themselves for that one. But I don't know, Alex, we've seen it a lot with Leganés, and they are extremely unlucky.
Yeah, I think also it is a psychological thing. I think when results aren't going well, you tend to focus on those moments a lot more. For example, you look at Real Madrid, or probably a better example would be, let's say, Man City back last 4 seasons. I'm sure there are quite a few moments that they would look back on, Liverpool as well, Arsenal, where they feel like they've been hard done by. But because week in, week out, they perform and they win and they play well, you tend to forget about those moments. But because Leganés are down at the bottom and fighting for relegation, those moments, they hold a lot more gravity to them, and I think they become a lot more important in the scheme of things. And I think when you look at moments like that, I look at moments like, I can't remember who it was, I think as well it could have been Diego Garcia, threw on goal, and I think he had Rudiger behind him, and he didn't finish where he should have finished. It was a one-on-one chance. That, as a striker or a midfielder, whoever you are, is bread and butter. You should be getting at least a shot on target. He didn't even get a shot off. Those are the moments where you think if you took those chances, you wouldn't have to worry about a free kick that you concede in the 76th minute.
But I think, no, I know what you're saying, but I think on top of that, it's not just the results. It's the fact that the results, or the refereeing, is impacting their results. I look at the game against Real Madrid. That's never a foul. And you have someone like Kylian Mbappe, who is that gifted, that can score that,
I mean,
They could have tied that game. So that's a match where they should have drawn. They have a match against Alaves where Munir got sent off. Alaves ended up scoring in the final minutes because of the referee. Again, match against Rayo Vallecano. It's when you're seeing it affect them so much that they're not finishing the result. They're not finishing to get the results that they want. Not even wins, but draws. I think that's the thing. It's not just that they're, at the bottom of the table trying to fight, but you're seeing moments where it almost is changing the result of the game. I think that's more what I'm looking at. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I mean, I was literally just going to say, first of all, just to correct the assertion, I don't think Kylian Mbappe scored a free kick. In my opinion, and that was a few couple of touches before he scored. And I don't know if that is going in a record to say Kylian Mbappe had scored a free kick.
You're talking, he had the pass.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of stuff that was going on. I think, and I was quite surprised. Funny enough, I didn't know Mbappe had not really scored a free kick just prior to that one. But a free kick is basically the ball is there, you take it straight up and it goes.
Sorry.
So whatever happens, I think it was just a goal for Kylian Mbappe. In my opinion, I'm not trying to downplay the goal. It was a beautiful goal at the end of the day. I mean, not everybody would score that kind of 1-2 boom and it goes into the net. It was very beautiful. However, like you guys were saying, I just think that some of these decisions at the Bernabeu is almost very questionable. And the Real Madrid I want to see, and I don't know if I will say Carlo Ancelotti gets this wrong, couple of times. I understand that maybe they may have looked down on that Leganés, which if they're still looking down on such clubs, somebody needs to start speaking to these coaches to say, bro, come on, man, you don't look down on any club, because clearly if Leganés had some kind of strategy put to their play, they probably would have been winning that game at the Bernabeu so easy, because we could clearly, the goals that Leganés scored, in my opinion, I enjoyed them more than the goals that came from Real Madrid. In as much as I'm a Real Madrid supporter, they were proper walked goals. Like, we saw their players literally go past defenders, got the ball into the 18-yard box, and somebody's just literally passing into the net. However, I think the refs, there's something off. And I don't know. I really don't know why Leganés keep being that one or that team that they keep being unlucky.
Yeah.
The last time Real Madrid played Leganés I think it was in the Copa del Rey in
quarterfinals at Butarque.
Yes, and this was in Leganés. This was in their home. Real Madrid still nearly lost that game too.
Yeah.
And it still ended in 3-2.
Yeah.
And it was one of those goals that ended, and you're like, wait, what is going on with Real Madrid and this club? Is Leganés that good? Yesterday, the start of the game, I was saying, this one is definitely going.
We thought it was going to be like if they continued.
Yeah. In my head, I was like, this one is going to be a proper walkthrough for Real Madrid. And when the first goal went in, Sara, like you said, Leganés just woke up from nowhere. And in my head, I'm like, where was this Leganés or this wow? Why did they have to wake up just when the first half is just about to finish? And then, boom, they were leading just at halftime. And I'm sure the whole of the Bernabeu, we were there, Sara. Everywhere was just quiet. Like, everywhere. To be honest, I was shocked. I was like, what is going on? Obviously, a part of me was also happy because, this was the time for Sporty TV, them putting on our jersey and just looking at Sporty TV being celebrated, all of our players running around with Sporty TV. I was happy. But then a part of me was also still questioning, what is going on with Real Madrid? Is it that these players starting are not good enough to play a relegation team in the LaLiga? If at this time, with the caliber of players we have in Real Madrid, we cannot walk through. Sara, not to make you happy, but I don't think, like Barcelona
not to make
today.
Me happy. Like,
no, because I know.
He wants me to suffer. It doesn't matter what
But I can imagine a Barcelona right now of today facing that Leganés we saw in that first half. Maybe they would have killed the game even before they went on first half. That what the coach would have been saying to their players in the locker room is, listen, I understand this is done for us. All we need to do now is not to concede any more goals. Just so in case, by the time the relegation numbers start calculating itself, maybe the goals might help us and maybe some other team might end up going. Who knows? But Real Madrid having to go into halftime, being on the losing side is something I would never have thought would happen at the Bernabeu.
But that is football, though. You look at countless times we've seen big teams go down to an early goal from the visitors, especially when you look at this so-called David and Goliath story and they're both teams in La Liga, but the size is unbelievable, the comparison between the two clubs. Real Madrid and many teams like them, you see it with Liverpool, they suffer. These big teams, when you're a team like Leganés and you play against a team like Real Madrid, it's natural. You're more motivated than you would be against a team one place above you in the league or 12th. It's natural that they're going to come into a game at the Bernabeu and think, this is our day, lads. This is where we could really do something special. And unfortunately for Leganés, they couldn't hold on to the victory. And I think that's perhaps where the quality shone through from Real Madrid, the pressure. I think if they hadn't been given that foul, they probably would have had another goal. I think it was from the offset in the second half where Bellingham got that goal. I just think when you get a small team coming to a big team, they're always going to be extra motivated.
Yeah, I will just say, I think unfortunately for Leganés, the refereeing didn't go their way. I don't think it was a matter of what we saw from Madrid, because we did see a rotated lineup here. And like you said, we saw, some maybe Arda G not having the best game, but they did get the 3 points, which continues to heat up La Liga. And let's bring in our friend from Accra, Gary L. Smith, joining the show now to talk a little Barcelona as they beat Girona in a Catalan derby, Gary, 4-1. A lot of rotations here made for the Catalan, they're both Catalan here, Barcelona, but they still got the job done. And the Pichichi is now also heating up because Lewandowski scored 2 after Kylian Mbappe scored 2. So 25 goals for Lewandowski, 22 goals for Mbappe, Gary. It's getting very tense.
Yeah, I'll start from the Pichichi. Lewandowski, at this time of his life, still fighting for a Pichichi. Well, that guy has got some longevity. I mean, if you told me that, 7 years ago, I'm sure I would have said it's likely to happen because he's always been very prolific, right? So it's not surprising. But to be doing it in this kind of Barcelona team, just for me, this Pichichi race for Lewandowski makes more meaning for his personal accomplishments, if he should win it, than for when he did it for either Bayern or Dortmund, if you get what I mean. Because I feel like there he had a supporting cast all the time. But here, it means more for me. And it's not like I'm a Barcelona fan or anything, but I think
it's okay, you can be.
I mean, for him to be, he's on 40 goals in all competitions, I think now, or 40 in all competitions. I think this means more, and it's cementing him as a bona fide goal threat wherever. I was literally watching a reel that came on my Instagram feed. I think one French publication has used AI, to do sort of like a montage of the changing years of Robert Lewandowski since he first started as a young boy in Poland. And it's fascinating, his numbers from 2011 when Dortmund won the league, I believe it was in Germany, to when he won the top scorer again, in the Bundesliga, and then went on together with Aubameyang, grown into a Barcelona player, didn't have the best of starts, but has grown into the undisputed bona fide goal threat, has brought Rafinha into the picture. Lewandowski is a proper real deal. And I'll be really happy for him if he's able to win a Pichichi, just because, it will show that every club he's gone to, he's been able to do it as well. For the larger picture, here in Rafinha, I think that nobody would doubt that they have been the catalyst to Barcelona's great season. It's also great to see that I think Barcelona, correct me if I'm wrong, are the only team in the top 5 leagues who have not lost a game this year in 2025, right? I think they are the only club in 2025 who are yet to lose a game in the top 5 leagues. And that says a lot about the team chemistry, Hansi Flick's own mental abilities, and how he's put this team together and the run that they are going on and all that. As to he and Kylian Mbappe, well, I think La Liga needed something like this since the departure of Messi versus Ronaldo, and then Messi versus was Messi versus Benzema, I think?
Not to the same degree. It's always
Not
Real
to the
Madrid
same
versus
degree.
Barca, but it wasn't ever those two pitted against each other.
Yeah, not against each other. And then, at the time Benzema was in peak form, Barcelona didn't have anybody to be coming against him in that goal scoring threat. And it's nice to see Barcelona being able to produce not one but two people to go against Kylian Mbappe as well. Kylian was always going to be a Pichichi contender in La Liga at one point or other. And it's good to see that Barca are the ones providing somebody like that. And I think it's good for the league. I mean, it's unfortunate that Diego Simeone's side have mathematically gone out of the title race. They mathematically cannot win the title anymore. I would have loved it to go to like end of April. That would have been quite spicy. But yeah, because even though it's not happening, I think Barcelona, Real Madrid, in Kylian Mbappe and Lewandowski are making it very, very good. And we are all here for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who the oldest player to win the Pichichi is, but he's 36. So it makes me think that if he does win, Mbappe is hot on his tail here, but he might become the oldest player to win the Pichichi. Alex, you're
It is Ferenc Puskas.
Alex is checking.
How old was he?
He was 37 when he won it in the 63.
When's Lewandowski's birthday?
So
What's
Lewandowski,
August 21st. Oh, give up. Forget it. It doesn't matter anymore. Wow. Well, incredible still. So, yes, as Gary mentioned, Atlético dropped points once again to Espanyol, and it is now out of their hands. They are taking Barcelona on in the Copa del Rey on Wednesday. Alex Ashmore, KlintonCod, and I will all be there. And that's pretty much the last piece of hardware Diego Simeone can go for. It's really all kind of come to a crumble at Atleti, but Barcelona still flying high. Real Madrid hot on their tails, so La Liga is still very, very much alive. Before we jump to Alex's top 5 goals of the season, can you with the pressure of the weekend?
One of them could be.
One of them, okay, of the weekend in La Liga. Let's quickly check in with Chantal and see what you guys are saying at home.
Okay, so first, during the Arda show, we got a lot of comments.
The Arda show.
I'll just pick one. Anchor says that Arda is fit to play at any stage and state of football. He only needs consistency to establish his solidarity. I'll forever choose Goulart over Endrick. Then to the Sporty TV derby, Real Madrid versus Leganés. Anchor also says that I'll consider cheating if it only happened once, twice, thrice, or more. This is stealing. Someone also says that Leganés should have been given that penalty against Raúl Asensio. And I want to say that the general consensus is that Leganés was robbed. That's all I'm seeing in the comments.
Okay, well, thank you, Chantal. Anything about that, Clinton, before we move along to Alex's goals?
No, I think, they pretty much have stated the obvious, most of the things we've been saying here on the show. Yeah, there's literally nothing
more to say.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote.
I mean, if anybody wants me to make any comments, make the comment that pisses me off, and I'll come for you straight away.
Oh,
you know how we do it.
What comment's
on the
that?
Sporty Show. Well, nobody was mindful. They know. They know, man.
All right.
I don't know. I might need to be told.
Alex, you are here in the studio. Mine, I will beat you. Like, we'll climb this table before this table goes.
Okay, let's jump to Alex's top 5 goals. And Gary, we have you here for this one too, because Clinton usually tends to disagree with these. So we'll get another opinion on this. But Alex, where are we starting?
We are starting in the capital. We're staying with Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappe against
Oh,
Leganés.
so one that shouldn't have been a goal is what you're counting. Very interesting. Okay.
It was a goal. Kylian Mbappe is shot / I'm not sure we're calling it a free kick, but effort from outside the area, link up with Brahim Diaz and, Arda G. No, it's Fran Garcia. I do think that perhaps the defence / keeper could have done a little bit better with this one, but nonetheless,
That's the number 5, right?
The skill to get it around the wall, to get it into that bottom corner, I think is a special goal. And I think on some other weeks that could have been higher in the list, but that is my number 5 for this week. Now, moving on to number 4, we've got El Gran Derby, of course, last night. Real Betis playing Sevilla. and I've gone for Johnny Cardoso's goal in the 25th minute against Sevilla. It's a lovely finish, a volley, stuff that Clinton can only dream of doing.
I would do it all day, every day, man.
Beautiful goal.
A lovely goal.
I mean, it's,
of course.
I don't know what's lovely there, but still, it's
Real
still a goal.
Betis getting the 2-1 win over their arch rivals.
Hold on, let me see the goal again. I mean, if I also rate that goal on a scale of 1 to 10,
If you would have hit that, it would have gone over the net.
No, God knows I was quite easy.
I think it takes a lot of skill to hit something for the first time when it's coming to you in the air.
First of all, when you look at the proximity between where he was and where the goal is, right, I would expect a player earning at least 100,000 euros a week to be scoring that one. If you're not able to get that thing on target from where that ball landed, I understand it takes extreme skill, but that's why you play in the La Liga, and that's why you get paid a lot of money.
Well, it's not your list, it's
Gary,
my
what
list.
Gary, what do you reckon? How do you feel about that goal?
Oh, it's a lovely goal. As an ex-footballer myself who didn't go pro,
And here we
no,
go.
Oh, God.
who didn't go pro,
Like me?
Yeah, I would say that's it. Clinton, that's a difficult. That's not easy to score.
But that's the thing. When you
Because-
do it
no,
week in,
no,
week
hold
out,
on.
Gary, that's easy
Hold
for
on,
me, man.
Hold on.
Clinton, you don't do it.
Look,
We
he
can.
has-
Bro,
he
come
has
on,
one,
Gary,
two,
bro.
three, four.
Let us know in the comments.
He has
Does
4
ClintonCod
players.
score that goal? Yes.
No, go Luton and
Yes,
ask
4
question, man.
players.
I've scored more difficult goals than this, man. That's why, see, let me tell you, right, everybody has their benchmark. This kind of stuff, because I've done it so many times, it doesn't feel like it's anything to me. And mind you, I was doing it without getting paid. Now, if this man is getting paid and he has all these chances, literally a few meters away from goal, and he's not scoring it, and you play in the La Liga, which is literally the second best competition
If you could
in
only hear
football.
what our producer Ben is saying.
Bruh,
Right?
come on, man. But,
Right.
but it doesn't stop the fact that it was a beautiful goal. I would take it.
So,
Alright.
moving on to the number 3 in my list of goals in
In
La
my-
Liga from the weekend.
My
I've gone
list.
for Pedro Diaz against Deportivo Alaves. Pedro Diaz, I think, has been in the list now 3 weeks running, or maybe 3 of the last 4 weeks. A lovely little move, I think a little nutmeg in there, and to finish into the bottom corner. A finish that I think you look at the move here to get past the defender, to find that gap in the bottom corner, outside the area, very impressive.
I feel like, yeah, the fact that this goal is coming, and literally you've rated this goal even higher than the previous goal we've just seen.
I'll give
Yeah?
Clinton this one. I don't
Nah,
think this
come,
is
this
better
this
than
guy,
the volley.
this,
Yeah.
I mean, Alex is beginning to piss
Oh, wait,
me
Gary
off, man.
has... Gary?
Yeah. No, I
Volley?
agree with you. And no,
All right,
I'll
Alex,
go
I
for
will say
this
you're-
one.
So you think
All
Johnny-
3 of
I'll
us.
switch
It's not
this
just
one.
Clinton. I think
Yeah.
Johnny Cardoso's goal was much better. It takes a lot more skill, the volley coming in, and I think.
Okay. Well, moving on to number 2 in my list again. I've gone for Tiano Barry against Getafe. This one was a lovely goal, a ball over the top and a volley from behind. He didn't even see where the ball was coming from.
Let's see if it was just luck or if he actually
It takes a
means it.
lot of skill to do something like
Let's
this.
see.
Ball over the top, he didn't even see it.
No, good one.
First time.
That's a good one.
To hit that, yes, the keeper.
It's all about timing. He doesn't even... It's one touch.
Timing.
It's one touch and it's timing. There's a lot of skill. I like it. It's exciting. It's a good goal. I like it a lot.
And moving on to number 1, which you mentioned goals of the season, Sara. I actually think this could be one of the goals of the season. Cesar Azpilicueta against Espanyol. An unbelievable strike. The ball comes out. He hits it first time. Top corner.
No, this is a beautiful goal, man.
This, for
Good
a
thing
defender
it wasn't
as well,
enough.
Unbelievable goal from Cesar. You can't really see it because the sun is on half of the pitch here at Espanyol up in Barcelona, but a lovely strike. First time for a defender to hit it like that into the top corner.
Yeah, literally, that's what I was just going to say. For a defender to be scoring that one, I think, yeah, I will give it to him 100%, man. That was very good.
So yeah, that's my goal of the week. Cesar Azpilicueta against Espanyol.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Something for Atleti to...
Maybe
happy
they have
about.
won something.
Yeah.
They won my goal of the week. Match week 29.
I think when it comes to goals, there's just something about scoring volleys, though. Because and the reason why I would always rate volleys over any kind of goals is the thought process that comes in with the volleys. That's one. and then being able, because you have that split seconds to start to make all your decisions, right? So it's not them kind of goals where, for example, the one that you rated as your number 3, where you had time goals. I mean, Sarah, you remember I nearly scored one of them kind of goals just this past weekend.
Well, yet again, no video.
No, obviously.
No. I was there. It didn't happen. So it's just like a delusional. This is, when you always say it's what does he say when he gets old? Wow. He says it's the mind or something.
It's the
dementia. That's what that is. There it is again.
I cannot believe Sarah denied this live on TV. Well, okay, it's fine.
What would be the phrase here? Wow. Say the delusion's kicking in.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe Sarah literally just denied something. Like this should have been on a highlight on a good day if he was on camera. But I understand that guys on the show, they're always just against.
Sorry to do Chantal's job, but TJ said if Clinton was taller, maybe he'd have smashed the volley.
No, I don't think you need a height to smash volleys, man. Come on, man. Everybody knows what I'm capable of.
I had to read that.
Whatever, man. Don't take Chantal's job again.
All right, well, let's jump to Chantal and let her do her job.
Do it again, Chantal. Do it again.
Do it again.
Chantal, they already come to read something.
I was going to tell Alex to just continue, finish it. That was the first comment I saw. Actually, I had a good laugh. Clinton, if you were taller, maybe you could have smashed that volley, and I do agree. But I want to say that I think everyone is probably in agreement with Alex's top picks, because apart from them taking a jab at Clinton's height, there isn't anyone disagreeing. So Alex, I think you did a good job.
What can I say?
Just the three of us.
Something that stood out to me in the comments, one of the first comments I saw was persons asking me for booking codes. So I'm going to ask you guys to just go ahead and give us some codes, because people want to make money. People are trying to get rich, so
they wouldn't have made
we
any
need
money
some
if
codes.
they listened to us last weekend, would they? We were 0 out of 3. But that's all going to change now, because we're going to make it a little bit more interesting. We are now going to go head-to-head with one another, where we're going to have to give a booking code daily, the 3 of us. So you're going to get 3 potential booking codes every day for matches coming up. And we're going to keep track now. So it's going to get competitive in the studio, as if it already isn't, guys. So there's the leaderboard. We all have 0 points, 1 point per correct booking code. So Alex, do you want to start off with your booking code for this evening?
Yes. So we've got LaLiga Hypermotion on Sporty TV tonight. It is a mid-table clash, Cádiz against Eibar. Neither side really looking for playoffs or in danger of getting relegated. I've gone for a risky one tonight, actually. I've gone for
25.
No,
25.9,
yeah.
which is very unlike me, but I felt something in the air. Something in the air. I've gone for a draw between these two sides. 13th and 14th, respectively, they are. I've gone for over 2.5 goals, over 7.5 corners, and both teams to score. So pointing towards a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw in that one, with odds of 25.9. Those, of course, odds are subject to change, but some good odds there for a potential tasty booking code.
Yeah, I mean, if it hits, you're cashing in big. You're cashing in big.
Yeah, but that's a draw. Like, obviously...
13th and 14th in the table.
Which is very likely, actually, in my opinion.
Neither looking for playoffs or going to get relegated. Both on some mixed form. Eibar away from home, not brilliant. Cádiz, average at home. I think it's got draw written all over it.
All right. Well, we'll see. 25.90 there. Clinton, booking code for the evening.
Yeah. Mine is pretty much a very easy one. I've literally just gone Celta versus Las Palmas. I've gone both teams to score. Reason for that one, just believe me, that's it. I go live for you.
In Vigo, Las Palmas, fighting relegation.
Yeah.
Okay. That alone is already, I'm nervous.
Just watch it. Watch it happen tonight. Is it tonight? Yeah, it's happening tonight.
It is happening tonight.
Girona, Parma. That one I've also gone team to score as well. This is just an easy 3.6. 3.6.
Where are the big odds?
Those ones comes on the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we come up with our big bet builders.
Yeah. Those are the ones. These ones I'm not trying to make anybody rich here. I'm just trying to feed you for the week, okay? The weekend, you wait. I'm going to get you something for for the rest of your life and for your kids. Now, just enjoy yourself, okay? Puts like £1,000, you get 3,600 and something.
A win's a win's a win.
A win is a win, absolutely. And when it comes to that competition that we are on in the studio, I still need to let our producer Ben that he needs to set what the rules are, because if he wants us to go like that, Alex, all I need to do is the day Real Madrid would face maybe a Celta, who knows? I'm literally just going to put Real Madrid done. That's my booking code. And guess who's going to be leading that?
I think the rules are, we've said that whoever, so for example, if my booking code comes off, I get 25.9 points. Is that how it's working?
Oh, that's not what I've been told. You got a point if you get it right. You get a point if you get it wrong. That's why I've gone with Torino and Lazio, and I've gone for the away team to win, and that's all I need to do. We can go. We can double check. Yeah, but that's what I've been told.
Now you see. Now you see how this. Now imagine, Alex, you've gone for a 25 odds, right? Now, I mean, if there's anybody who's likely to get any points here, it's going to start from maybe Sara, firstly, because this is a pretty much easy 4.63 for just the game, and it's literally just one. Me, I've gone with 2 games, more likely for me, before it then goes to your draw. Obviously 1 game, but it's
I'm having all the fun, though.
I mean, no, it is fun. But like I said, at the weekend, I'm coming with the proper bazooka, you know.
Work smarter, ladies and gentlemen, not harder. So I'm taking Torino to beat Lazio here. It's a bit risky, and that's why I have 4.65 over in one match over your 2, because this is obviously going to be played in Rome. Lazio, not in great form right now. Torino on a 4-game unbeaten bounce. They are trying to push for European contention. Lazio trying to stay up there, but they're just running on some really tough form. They're still in the Europa Conference League. They have a couple of places to be focused on here. And I think Torino are just playing absolutely brilliantly, and I think they can get the better of the Roman side here. So I'm going to take the away team. It's a bit risky, but listen, at least it makes it fun.
Could we get Gary to tell us what he thinks about the 3 bets?
Gary, which one are you locking in?
Gary, if I give you $1,000 right now, which of our bets are you putting your cash on?
I don't know if it would
He's
be
making
Alex.
his own.
Let's see.
I'm going for yours because you just want to feed me for tonight. Like, and then you give me the big one.
The guy is a crab man. You didn't say he did wise. Oh, man. Okay, so you believe that at least, yeah, you know, I'm giving people something to eat this weekend.
Just for the road.
Right, for the road.
Just for the road.
Let's see.
Quick mention to Anthony. I don't know if you guys saw over the weekend, El Gran Derby, him yesterday. Absolutely loving it. Betis getting the win. Gary, I don't know if you saw that, but he had the flag. He said, Manchester who? He did not have any shame. And you know what? I'm happy for him. He's playing brilliant football.
He said that?
No, I said that
he said that?
No, he doesn't. He's saying
Oh,
it.
right.
He's saying it here, Gary. He's saying it with himself. No, look at him celebrating this win over obviously city rival Sevilla. You know, he's playing like the football we used to see Anthony play. He has a smile on his face. Wow, I can't speak. And he's, you know, I'm happy for him. I can't shame the man.
If I was Anthony, honestly, I would do everything possible to just stay there.
Absolutely.
There's literally no
I'm
point
sure
going
he's
back
going
Absolutely.
to.
United. My opinion. And clearly, you will see that he's not in the right mental state. I mean, for a player to be able to, you know, pull all of this stuff is to tell you how much happy he's been there, knowing where he's come from. Manchester United, when we think about how much, I'm probably sure that Anthony is forgotten about a club called Manchester. If you ask me, if he's asked what team do you play for, like where are you signed, I'm sure he's not going to say. I don't think he remembers that there's a club called Manchester United at this point. He may as well just do everything. Who was? I think it was. I don't know which player was saying that at this point we need to crowdfund to keep Anthony here. Who was? You know, it was one of the Real
A player?
Players. Yeah, one of the players. Was it, the one?
Pablo
Isco.
Fornals.
That's
Okay,
it was. No,
there
it was.
you go.
Yeah, it was Isco. It was Isco. No, he was literally saying that at this point they have to crowdfund. You know, to keep him in Real Betis. And honestly, I will try to still chip into. Hopefully, if my bet comes in this evening.
All right. Well, we know where your money's going. And before we jump to FA Cup, we do have to still talk about the Carabao Cup because oh my, the Geordies got after it. We saw Newcastle celebrating their massive Carabao Cup win. First time they've won a trophy. Alex, in how many years?
70.
70 years, and over
70 years. Wow.
300,000 Geordies were up in Newcastle, and it was brilliant to see. Once again, just credit to Newcastle and all that they've done, and all of their fans that have been with them through generations of football. You could see it. Really, really, it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah,
it's nice.
There'll be some sore heads on the turn this morning.
Oh, they're not going. They're not
They're
going
still
into
going,
work.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, FA Cup. Gary, I need you to look me in
Yep.
my eyes for this one, because I think all of us here at Sporty need to make a formal apology to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, definitely.
The four of us on Thursday, if you all remember, said that I think this is the one besides Aston Villa Preston that we were all pretty certain, no, Fulham will get the job done. Craven Cottage, no problem. Crystal Palace, not performing this season. Well, Crystal Palace said, we hear that and we'll raise those stakes, because they had probably the best performance out of all 8 teams over the weekend, performing in the FA Cup. They were unbelievable. We saw, 3-0. It wasn't even, an argument here. Crystal Palace dominated at Craven Cottage and now headed into the semifinals of the FA Cup. Gary, thoughts, questions, concerns?
Yeah. Apologies.
We raise
Let's
our
get
hands
that
up
out of
in
the
this
way.
one, guys.
Yeah, first, let's get that out of the way. Palace, though, happy for there he is.
Yeah,
I didn't get here.
you wish he was with you.
Yeah, I do. I saw somebody tweet that, so like Arsenal, seriously, Edin Ketia has left and he still has a better chance of winning a trophy before Arsenal. Like, really?
Hey,
Oof, that's harsh.
Oh.
Yeah, but I mean, don't discount the fact that Arsenal in the Champions League. It does seem like Crystal Palace, it's easier for them to win the FA Cup looking at the trajectory than Arsenal to win the Champions League. So whoever wrote that probably has a point there. But yeah, Palace were scintillating, I think the word is. Let me, to borrow Kosi Fiaka's word, he loves the word scintillating. And I think they were pretty cool to watch. It was pretty nice to watch them. And yeah, all the best to them. As for Fulham, I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, one of those days it just wasn't on, and unfortunately they are now out of the FA Cup. But speaking about players that are doing much better than their former clubs, Marcus Rashford absolutely turning it on for Aston Villa, as they naturally, I think we all said, would beat Preston. It's just a matter of resources, and it's just a bigger club. 3-0, but 2 of those goals coming from your boy Marcus Rashford. 1 penalty and 1 goal. And again, he probably was thinking, Manchester United, you?
no, I've said it so many times that there's just something in Manchester United that, a couple of pastors need to come together to pray and start casting and binding, because the fact that all these players tend to be doing what they are doing in their other clubs is to tell you something, is to tell you that there's something off. And in my opinion, I'm just happy to see it happening for them, especially, forget about Anthony. When you compare the backlash Anthony and Rashford has been going through in that club and seeing how much they are doing, I don't think maybe everybody will be looking at them like, oh, maybe it wasn't them. It was the institution, it was the club, it was Manchester United as a team that, I don't know how to explain it, I don't know how to make it make sense, but I'm happy for Rashford, man. Rashford is somebody I've always said here on this show. And if you guys remember a couple of months, I would always say that I still believe in him. But obviously, at some point, I also still lost hope. Now, the mistake I did at the time was to blame him, to say maybe it's just you who's not putting your head down, who's not wanting to be the guy. But, knowing that he's now gone to Aston Villa and he's in a game, he's getting on the score sheet twice, and seeing Anthony carrying a whole big flag, you just got to be happy for them, man. They, Manchester, they... Oh, man.
Can I use this opportunity to be smug?
Please don't. Okay, go on.
Yeah, please.
Who did, I don't know about you, Gary, I think you might have been there as well. Who did you guys predict as your favourites to win the...
Oh, we haven't gotten there yet. I was going to go to Man City.
Hey!
Alex, can we get through the game? We'll get through the game.
Stop it.
Sorry that you took Aston Villa to beat Preston. Yeah, long day. Well, Alex is ruining the show here, because I was going to go to Man City and Bournemouth. We could have talked about Erling Haaland missing a penalty. Yep. But no, let's talk about Brighton and Nottingham Forest. Because, Gary, what did we say about this game, though? We did say this was going to be the tightest game in the FA Cup.
Yeah, we
And
did.
my, oh my, it was going 0-0 and then to penalties. And all the credit is to Matt Sells because he did save 2 from Diego Garcia, the
Again.
new signing. I know, again, from Inter Miami, joining the Paraguayan in January to Brighton. Yeah, I mean, credit to Nottingham Forest. We also know they've had an unbelievable season. Nuno Espirito Santo and Matt Sells, a brilliant team. And it just wasn't, the luck wasn't on Brighton's side, but it was a very close match. And unfortunately, Clinton, Gary, and I, Seagulls, are flying out of the FA Cup. But all the credit to Nottingham Forest. And they're going to be taking on Man City, who did get by Bournemouth 2-1. But Erling Haaland missed a penalty, but then he scored.
Made up for it.
No.
He did.
Yeah, he did. And Omar Marmoush as well, 2-1.
Yeah, but
And
I
Evan Nelson
don't
for the
think
Cherries.
I don't think Alan was having the best game in that game though.
I don't think Man City were having the best game either. I found this match very uninspiring.
I felt like you know it could have been better for Manchester City.
Sure.
When you consider the fact that I think Haaland missing a penalty, and I think there was one open chance.
Yes,
that
right over.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. I felt like that was Omar Marmoush's first goal for Manchester City. It was like you know this is the difference between caliber of players. Maybe Haaland, that's not his forte when it comes to goal scoring. You know, he would score maybe one of the goals where it's like a one-on-one, or he could make a very nice header or whatever. But you know, we've seen Omar Marmoush. I feel like he's more of a prolific guy when it comes to being in front of that net. I'm not trying to say Erling Haaland because of one game. I'm trying to downplay him. No, he's still the guy. But just that game, Manchester City won the game, but I don't think that was his best game ever. Even having to now leave the stadium on crutches, you know, to tell you that, okay, you know, this is not the Erling Haaland. No, if he was the guy, he probably would have scored a penalty. He maybe would have buried the chance that he had, or maybe a couple of them, and that would have been a proper win for Manchester City.
Mm-hmm. Gary, how do you feel about this Man City result over Bournemouth? Are you feeling like they can win this FA Cup, or are you still uncertain after that performance?
Well, it's the only chance at silverware. And they still had to come back to win this one. You know, some would say it shows character, but then again, you know, they are still not too inspiring, I'd say. And Bournemouth will feel like they had a great chance to beat a very, very storied opposition and lost out on that chance. But I think that Man City have what it takes. I mean, yeah, they are not playing well and everything, but come on, they can't have lost all their character, all their championship winning mettle and mentality as well. So I think once they are still in the competition and they still have to meet Nottingham Forest next, it's not the most difficult thing in the world, but it's not the easiest either, because Forest themselves, as you know, what have they got to lose? And they're playing so much swashbuckling football, attractive football, and they seem to know how to get the results when you need them to. So is it a game I'm looking forward to? Absolutely. Fingers crossed, Bournemouth win. Come on.
Bournemouth,
Cherries.
Nottingham Forest.
Not Nottingham Forest. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Nottingham Forest are going to take on Man City in the FA Cup semi-finals, with Aston Villa taking on Crystal Palace. So
imagine how good a final between Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest would be.
Well, I hope Nottingham Forest win just because you were smug about it today, Alex. Sorry, Villa. I've enjoyed you, but Alex has ruined it for me. I mean, after the way Crystal Palace beat Fulham,
That would be
would
a
be-
story for Oliver Glasner as well, starting off the season. What was it, 10 games in, people were saying he should be sacked. They didn't win. I think it was 8-9 games into. They went on a really bad run of form towards the beginning of the season. Picked it up now, and in the semi-final of the FA Cup, they're not going to get relegated. They could even finish in the top half. Credit to him.
well, Aston Villa is still in the Champions League as well, so looking like they're trying to do a couple things here. Would it be a bit of a, I don't know, how am I going to say this properly, Clinton? But if Man City win the FA Cup, is it a bit lackluster maybe? With the way they've played this season and just how disappointing they've been and how up and down, and then you see teams like Villa who are trying to make a run here in the Champions League as well. We know how good of a caliber team they are. Forest, maybe the story of the season, as we keep saying. Crystal Palace just having the biggest underdogs right now in this, and then you have like if they win, is it a bit lackluster?
No, I think, in my opinion, you know, it's going to be, if Manchester City wins, I think it will take the grace of God. because in my opinion, we know they've not really been the best in such a long time this season so far. And when you look at the caliber of teams in this, semi-finals for the FA Cup, to me, these are more serious teams than the Manchester City. Manchester City fits in the current Nottingham Forest. I don't think I want to start thinking ahead of myself, because we know how much Nottingham Forest have literally taken their work really seriously. Like we said, they are literally the biggest announcement of the season for the Premier League. Imagine the Nottingham Forest playing Champions League football next season. I mean, assuming it does happen though, like that's like what even they themselves would not believe. Maybe they probably came into this competition this season to say, now, we just want to try to just be as usual in the Premier League. But looking at where they are now, it's like, wait, hang on, this is literally the FA Cup, and them being in the semi-finals. And when you look at all the teams in that, in these last stages, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Manchester City, what's the fourth one? Crystal Palace, yeah? Obviously, I'm not expecting Crystal Palace to go anywhere.
You never know.
Right? I mean, not that I never know, I know. Me, I'm.
I thought you knew about Brighton winning.
No, but listen. Brighton did not lose their game. It was a penalty, right? And we know what penalties are. It's a 50-50 thing. They played against one of the best. As a matter of fact, Nottingham Forest have been better than Brighton this season.
Sure.
So what are we on about? Were we expecting Brighton to all of a sudden, start being Brighton against Nottingham Forest? Now, do you know what the funny thing is? If Brighton had faced Aston Villa, I would have even had more hopes to say Brighton would beat an Aston Villa compared to the Nottingham Forest that we've seen this season so far, right? And if it didn't work out for them and it went on penalty, I don't think it was a bad way to lose. They were, like I said, penalties are 50. Anybody wins penalty. Real Madrid could easily face a Luton, and Luton could win. It just takes a Kylian Mbappe or Ibrahim to hit the ball straight to the goal post, like literally to the woodwork, and a Luton could win. So, in my opinion, I think it's just they were just unlucky that they were not able to beat an unformed Nottingham Forest, which I wasn't expecting them. As a matter of fact, I would expect the Nottingham Forest to beat a Brighton, looking at how good they've been.
Yeah.
So who should the credit be going to? It should be going to a Brighton who were able to take the game to penalties, but it just didn't work out for them. Okay. Manchester City. Listen, if Brighton had faced Manchester City instead, I'm telling you, he probably wouldn't have gone to penalties. Maybe Brighton could have buried the game even before it goes to any kind of extras or whatever.
Yeah.
So, Manchester City, like I said, and I'm going to finish it, what I said from the start of this answer, I'm going to end it with the same thing. If Manchester City does win it, having been very poor this season, it's going to be by the grace of God.
Okay. Well, Gary, before we let you go, because now that you and our Seagulls are out, who are you going for to win the FA Cup when you look at these semi-finals?
Arsenal is out, really? Like you had to rub it in, really?
Oh my God, you heard that?
Of course I heard that.
They
I'm
didn't.
listening
Did
on
you
the
guys
show.
hear that?
What?
Our producer, he said not Arsenal, and I thought he said it to me, but he said it to me and Gary. Oh, that's so Gary. I thought that was just for me.
What do you call it? I would like. It would be nice to see an Aston Villa in the final as well. Now, Alex, imagine if Aston Villa did the double, won the Champions League and won the FA Cup.
Impossible.
Imagine.
That's the thing about the SportyShow. I love it because we are very imaginative and, but let's continue imagining.
Anyway, definitely not Man City. I think I'd like if Bournemouth should win. I mean, it would make for a fantastic story as well.
Wait, Bournemouth, they're out.
Yeah.
Nottingham. Why do I keep saying Bournemouth?
I don't know. You're really
Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
Nottingham Forest. Yeah.
To
Relive the
give
glory
you guys
days.
an idea of how unlikely it would be if Aston Villa won the FA Cup and the Champions League on SportyBet for them to win both of them outright, 109.88.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything on that.
To be honest, I don't see Aston Villa win anything in the Champions League. Sorry.
Well, aren't they playing PSG? So this is their exit route, unfortunately. With the way PSG are playing, so I just don't see it happening. But hey, Prove me wrong, Villa. So, Gary, you're going for Villa? Was that?
Nottingham Forest.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. I'm on the Nottingham. They took out Brighton, so now they got to win the whole thing. I'm on the Nuno Espirito Santo train to the final. Let's go. Let's see. Them against City, that will be a good game.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
So, let's see. All right, Gary. Well, we know it's a holiday over there in Ghana, and you still showed up. We love you for that. So thank you very much. We'll let you go now and enjoy the rest of your day.
Holiday tomorrow as well.
No.
All right. Well, we know he's getting
guys.
after it tonight then.
Rub it in,
Clinton.
why don't you?
These guys are living the life, man.
Clinton, it's the Eid. So two days.
I should be celebrating Eid from Madrid, man. I shouldn't be.
Eid
Yeah.
Mubarak to all of those that are celebrating.
So
All right, Gary.
Cheers.
Well, enjoy it.
Gary, thank you very much, man. And please remember to send me my goal. I'll continue telling you on every single show.
boom.
No. Send me the thing before we do boom. In fact, you are not allowed to say boom until you send me the goal that we're going to be putting on our next Sporty TV show. Because that was actually sporty. It was a sporty game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Shall we move along to some Serie A action, guys, because it was a busy weekend over in Italy. Let's take a look at this.
Another thrilling weekend
Okay, they're
in
gonna
Serie A.
come.
We had some top clashes, dramatic moments, and of course, some stunning goals. In Naples, Napoli edged out Milan. With goals by Matteo Politano and Romelu Lukaku, Napoli was able to bring home 3 crucial points for their title race. Luka Jovic pulled one back for Milan, but a penalty missed by Santiago Jimenez cost them a chance to turn the game around. A huge win for Napoli. At the San Siro, league leaders Inter secured a 2-1 victory over Udinese. Marco Arnautovic scored first, followed by Davide Frattesi to give Inter a strong lead. Udinese responded with a goal from Solid, but it wasn't enough to deny Inter the victory, keeping them on top of the Italian league. In Florence, Fiorentina claimed a big win over Atalanta thanks to Moises Kean' decisive strike. A tight match where Fiorentina star Kean made the difference. And in Turin, Juventus continued their winning run with a 1-0 victory against Genoa. Kenan Yildiz was the man of the match, scoring the only goal. Not the flashiest performance, but another 3 points in the bag for the Bianconeri.
All right. Well, who better to talk about the Serie A than Lucrezia?
Hi, Sarah. Thank you. Here we are again.
Here we are again,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry that we have to start off with a
It's
Napoli
okay. It's
win
okay.
over your Milan side,
Yeah.
but I think we expected it.
Yeah, we saw that coming.
What we maybe didn't expect was Santiago Jimenez to miss a penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. What went wrong?
I have no idea. Usually we have Christian Pulisic, taking penalties.
Yep.
So I think that could have been a choice that would be better for us. That could have maybe secured an extra point that AC Milan really needs right now, given the current position they have. They're like, what, 9th?
They're ninth right
They're
now.
like minus 20
yeah.
from the top.
Luckily, Udinese is 7 points behind them,
Yeah.
so I don't think they'll crack into the bottom half of the table, but
No,
it's not a
but
good
still,
position.
you're still not in Europe. You're still not
Yeah.
having competitions next year.
Yeah.
For a team,
5 points off Roma, who hold that 6th spot.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's possible. I think, with Fiorentina and Lazio, they can get to. But
Yeah.
with the way that they're playing, I think it looks difficult. I think that's what's concerning, is that they've been poor for now a long time. It's just kind of consistently
Yeah.
bad. Napoli, on the other hand, no Scott McTominay, no problem, because Romelu Lukaku continuing to score, and Politano as well getting on the board here. Napoli now chasing Inter. 3 points separate the two from the top. Inter getting the 2-1 win over Udinese. So it's a 2-horse race in Italy as well, because one team actually did drop out a little bit.
Yeah.
And
that
that
be?
was,
Unfortunately.
I wonder what team that was. Clinton, do you know what team that happened to lose over the weekend?
Yeah, did you follow Serie A?
Did you know what's happening? Fiorentina and Moise Kean getting the better of Atalanta. So Fiore is now sitting in 8th.
Yeah.
Atalanta dropping 6 points now behind Napoli in 2nd place. So they are likely to not win the Serie A, looking for European contention. But we do have to talk about Moise Kean, Lucrezia,
Yeah.
because he has been unbelievable this season. 16 goals in the Serie A. Is he flying under the radar a bit? Because I don't think enough of us are talking about him
Yeah.
and seeing his consistency, especially at the turn of the calendar year here.
I
He's
don't
just
know
been
if
getting better and
If
better.
you also watched them during the international break, he also did, amazing things for
Against
Italy.
Germany, yeah.
You know, he helped us a little bit, having some hope. Italy was down, what, 3-0?
Oh, gee.
We
We're
almost got there.
torturing you today.
I know, it's tough. AC Milan and Italy, they're
Yeah.
both not great.
Yeah.
But
Clinton, Atalanta dropping points here. Is this more and more for your boy to head out of this side?
Well, I've said it. At this point, I would just say to Ademola Lookman, please just come back to the Premier League, because I think he's done his bit in Italy. There's nothing much he has to do. He's literally brought them, he's made football look very beautiful, and I want to see him come do it in that Premier League side of things. We pretty much know how he left England. He didn't live in the best football state in terms of how much he performed. People did say that, of course, he wasn't the best in. Listen, I just want the coach to apologize to him first. If they actually want to do anything in particular that means everybody will be happy again with Atalanta and Ademola Lookman, that incident that happened has changed a lot to me, and spiritually, the effect is beginning to show.
Is this juju for that?
That's extreme. That's a strong juju. You see, you don't mess with Nigerians, Like, bro.
Well, the thing is, it's not like Lookman's suffering with Atalanta as well. It's not like his team is out of, contention of winning the Scudetto. He wants to win it, even if he has an issue with his coach.
No, but it's the mental state I'm talking about, all right? Because, let's look at what's happening with Victor Boniface with that Bayer Leverkusen. No, listen, this thing about Nigerians, people don't... Listen, Sarah, the day you tell me something that annoys me, you will come here and you start...
I think I tell you annoying stuff every day.
No, you say it in a very nice way. Say it in a way that pisses me off, Sarah. You will come to this show and you start stuttering, and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't talk today, what's going on? Okay, all you need to do is just apologize to Clinton and you'll be fine. Okay, but no, listen. I think it's time for him to move on. He should just get out. Even if he's not coming to the Premier League, let him just maybe even come to Real Madrid. Of course, I've spoken to.
Okay.
he's dreaming a little bit now.
Yeah.
No, but I would love him to be somewhere better.
Of course.
Do you think he would fit La Liga?
Yes, I feel like he
more
would perform
than
anywhere.
Premier League? Oh no, just anywhere.
I think he would. If he comes here, he would dominate, right? If he goes to the Premier League, where I think it's more competitive, right? He's still going to be an Ademola Lookman. He's still going to be very good, but it's still not going to be easy for him, right? If he goes to Germany, he's probably going to be their best player there. Who knows? In my opinion. But yeah, I think he served his time in Atalanta, and it's time to move on.
Well, there is a certain Frenchman at Atleti that might not be leaving, but he could be leaving.
The MLS is calling him.
Would you want to see Ademola Lookman at Atletico Madrid?
I would love to see him there, actually. No, honestly. Oh! Wait. No, wait. Imagine Ademola Lookman and Julian Alvarez. And then... Oh, my... And Griezmann.
No,
that's
if
Griezmann leaves.
leaving.
If Griezmann leaves.
No, even if Griezmann leaves, right, it still doesn't matter.
We've still got Julian Alvarez.
Yeah.
Alexander Solo.
Yes.
One Gallagher.
Yes.
Angel Correa.
I mean, these names you're calling, they are still not they're not as powerful to me as how you would mention.
Rodrigo de Paul. Diego Simeone.
Listen, when you say Rodrigo de Paul, all I just see is a Lionel Messi bouncer. Like, listen, for me, the person, when you speak Atletico Madrid right now, there's only one face that comes to your head, and it's Julian Alvarez, in my opinion. Like, everybody knows this. Alex, you know it. Your dad knows it. Your mom knows it too. Like, every single person. But if an Ademola Lookman comes in, I'm telling you that if Julian Alvarez has 30 goals, Ademola comes in and is playing from that left wing, he's going to have 60 goals.
Okay, I want Ademola Lookman. Ademola Lookman, if you can hear, come to Atletico, because I want to. If you think that Ademola Lookman is going to score more goals, then I'd love to see it, because I don't think there's a chance.
No. I'm not saying he's going to score more goals. I'm saying he's going to give Alvarez more goals. Like, so I'm saying. So he's going to give him, like...
Okay, can
the
I...
way
you took that
the way it was
too.
phrased.
The way you said it,
sorry.
I would take 60.
No.
I thought you meant Ademola would come here and score 60 goals.
No. I'm just looking at the relationship both players would have.
Of course.
Like Ademola Lookman working all the hard work, and Julian Alvarez just literally, and we know how much Julian Alvarez is when it comes to how much work he puts in, in terms of driving through ball, being in the right position, scoring the goals. Now Ademola Lookman, somebody who equally does that same amount of work from the left wing, getting in the ball into the 18-yard box. Literally, we've seen it with Atalanta. There are so many jobs that he's done where we always expect somebody to be that point man. And Ademola Lookman, sometimes you see how frustrated he is. It's like, why is nobody there? Like, what's going on, fam? I keep bringing in this ball. Even with Nigeria too. right? Of course, recently we've not seen it in Nigeria. Why? Because they keep playing off position, which, of course, it's not just Ademola Lookman. We saw Olaina playing from the left wing and the rest of them. So, in my opinion, I think Atleti, I would love to. Ademola, I beg, I beg you, I beg, please. I beg. Atleti? Get out from Atalanta. Atlanta is not for you. You've done your job. Please come to the La Liga. Let's see you shine, bro.
Lucrezia, before we let you go, I want to ask you about how you think the top four is going to finish in the Serie A, because obviously we know it's Inter and Napoli, and then you have Atalanta, but right behind them, just 2 points, is Bologna, and then you have right behind them Juve. Roma still trying to make that push and hold on to European contention. How do you see the top four finishing as the Serie A season wraps up?
I think Juventus will make a
push?
little comeback. Yeah,
Okay.
Maybe with the new coach as well, we might see something changing, because they've been, drawing too many games.
Yeah.
So maybe now they could have a new beginning, win a little more, and finally get back to Champions League. I really would want Fiorentina to be more at the top.
Absolutely.
I would love them to be there, but they can still. They're still not too far from the
Europa Conference League, I think, is
exactly.
the closest
So they
thing,
were.
but
Yeah, have dropped off a little bit as well, haven't
Yes.
they? I mean, Roma probably taking their place, actually,
Yeah.
in that
They're like
top six, really.
they have a point difference. It's very tight there right now.
do you see, okay, so you say Juve.
Yes.
So who's that fourth place position? Is it Atalanta, or you see Bologna, making that statement?
I would say the way it is right now, but I would switch Bologna and Juventus.
Okay.
Have Juventus go up and Bologna drop some points.
Okay.
But I don't know. They've been winning what, 4, 5 games in a row. I don't know if Bologna is dropping points.
Absolutely smashing Lazio 5-0 last weekend.
I fancy
Unexpected.
Roma for that full spot. Claudio Ranieri.
Why do you fancy Roma?
Claudio Ranieri. He's
him.
I mean, I say this every time I talk about him. How can you not love Claudio Ranieri?
Yeah, there's something about him.
The job he's done at Roma this season, he came in, I think probably if you asked him 3 months ago, would you be in a job in a year's time? He'd say not a chance. He wanted to be up on the sofa with his slippers on watching the football at the weekend. But what a job he's done. And I think for him, I'd just be delighted to see him if Roma got that top four.
Well, between 8th place Fiorentina and 4th place Bologna is 5 points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, every game is going to matter right
everything
now.
could change.
Yeah, and so there's a chance for Roma. There's a chance for Fiore as well. So we'll see. But I'd love to see Fiore. I'm with you, too. I think that would just be so exciting. And, I mean, let's switch it up. I don't want to see Juve anywhere near the top four.
Same.
I don't think they deserve
Same
it.
teams.
Nope. And it's just been boring football, all their draw. I get they're going through a transition, but I want to see one of these other teams we haven't seen in so long in the Serie A do well. So.
Yeah, they haven't been doing, great things in a while now.
Yeah.
For a few years. It's just not exciting to watch.
Exactly.
So I agree with you on that.
All right. Well, thank you, Lucrezia.
Thanks
as
for having
always.
me again.
Chantal, we'll jump to you now and see what's going on socials. We've talked about many, many things now.
Yeah, you guys have, and I just want to point out quickly that there's a bit of analysis going on about the booking codes. So someone said, I don't think Sara's code will go through no matter what happens. I don't see Torino winning this. But Markinde says, my money is always on Sara. Kwame pointed out that this is cheating. Sara and Clinton, why is Alex doing 25 odds and you and Clinton doing just 3 and 4 odds? And back to the FA Cup drama, Maxwell says that Man City will win the FA Cup. Anka, on the other hand, says that the penalty was orchestrated for a miss because if you look at the referee before the penalty was taken, pointed to the left for Haaland to push the ball there, and Haaland also kicked close to the keeper. A very nice comment for Clinton, which is very rare. Mariama says, my grandma said she loved the way KlintonCod is always smiling. Also, on the flip side for Clinton, someone says, Clinton, mind you, Nottingham Forest have won the Champions League twice. So I guess they're saying that you should take that into consideration.
You were 20?
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly, yeah. I know, I just turned 20.
Oh, my goodness.
And lastly, on the FA Cup drama, Anko says, I was just laughing at you guys when you were making predictions in favor of Fulham. I know Crystal Palace will make a massive damage on them because their striker is back. So
Okay.
those are the
I didn't get
comments.
to ya. Do it for Arsenal. Actually, the poll here, just out of curiosity, sorry, Chantal, I just saw it on our YouTube, but we asked you guys who you thought would win the FA Cup, and 47% of you said Manchester City being the favorites. Then the second favorite is Crystal Palace, followed by Aston Villa, and then Nottingham Forest.
Wow.
I think I would have.
If you could flip this the other way around, even.
I think I'd have Villa first, Forest second, maybe Man City second, and then Forest. I definitely wouldn't have Palace second.
I feel so sad.
I almost don't think I'd have City first. I think that's more shocking.
Yeah.
With the way City have performed this season, I know we keep looking at the past, but how can you think that they're reliable? You don't know what City you're going to get. And
I feel so sad that Manchester City, they felt so bad to the point where we don't even have any confidence in them winning a competition that's left with a Crystal Palace. In Nottingham Forest, of course, we've got to give credit to them for what they've done this season so far, and then the Aston Villa. But whoever or the people who have voted Manchester City, I understand, of course, when you look at the caliber of players in the team, irrespective of the fact that they've not been the best team. But come on, we've still got to still remember what Manchester City, what they have. Like,
are we living in the past, though?
I mean, we're not living in the past. However, we could still live for the future. You never know.
All right. Well, we do never know. Let's see. All right, we are doing a new segment on Mondays where I'm going to give you guys my team of the weekend. Now, stay with me here because our producer, I said, what am I doing? La Liga? Going to do the Prem? No, he said do it all. So please take it lightly because there are more than 11 players that have performed this weekend across all leagues. Mind you, once the Libertadores starts, that means I'm also going to South America. So there's going to be upsets here, and I tried my best, but this is what I got. So, team of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, tell me if you agree, or tell Chantal if you agree or disagree, and who deserves to make it. But I'm starting off with shock. Matt Sal's in between the sticks. Come on, you're winning a quarterfinal in penalties. You saved 2 of them. We know how he's been this season. I feel no shame putting him in between. Can we get the graphic? Please? Sorry. I know Clinton keeps looking.
Yeah, I'm just
All
waiting
right.
for it.
So there you go. Matt Sal's for the absolute brilliant penalty performance. We know how much pressure that is on the keeper. So I feel no ways about that. For you, Mr. Alex Ashmore, I think they've gotten these two switched up here, Athpi and Di Lorenzo. That should be the other way around. So please imagine Athpi Lagueta on the left and Di Lorenzo for Napoli on the right. But I'm going to put Athpi in there for his goal, Clinton goal of the weekend for Alex Ashmore. And, we have to give Atletico something, and good on them.
That's 2 things they've won this week.
Hey, you know what? They're on it. And yeah, I've gone for Di Lorenzo for Napoli. Brilliant performance, obviously, against AC Milan, and an absolute wall for them. So good on him. Both of my center backs here are FA Cup contenders, winners actually, and brilliant both from Murillo of Nottingham Forest and Gay. Alex, I know you're going to be happy about that one, but both of them did extremely well, and I thought, let's give them some love. In the middle, I have Di Marco, who's always on form for Inter Milan, and once again on form again over the weekend against Udinese. I've gone for Johnny Cardosa, who shone for Betis against Sevilla, and Desiree Doué, who had an absolute screamer of a performance over the weekend for PSG against Saint-Etienne, scoring 2 goals. Up front, we've gone for Eberiche Eze. I don't know if you guys were watching the Palace game, but he was the man of the match. He had an assist, had a goal, and up front, Clinton's #1 boy, Marcus Rashford. I thought maybe 2 goals. For the striker position, I won't lie, there were maybe 7 people I could have put.
And I was to choose 1 over the 7.
Don't care. It's not your list, is it?
What?
Bye. Because you know what? You could have said Harry Kane, you could have said Mbappe or Lewandowski, but for me, Moise Kean was the one that I really wanted to give love to. Thank God Lucrezia and I did. And Lamine Yamal, no
I mean,
shot.
there's no way. Even if Lamine Yamal didn't play, I'm sure you still put him there.
But I know you didn't watch the
get it.
Barca game.
No,
and
I mean, I did to an extent. I'm not trying to say, listen, Lamine Yamal would always perform, right? But it still doesn't mean that, he has to always...
He had an amazing game.
I mean, there are so many of them that probably still had an amazing game as well, Sarah.
Yeah, Clinton, look at that. That's what you get.
Yeah, I mean...
That's him looking at you saying, I don't care. You could be my grandfather. Get out.
There's maybe one name...
Let's go through it now.
On that left wing, and I know I'm jumping to the forward line immediately, but Leroy Sané with his 2 goals for Bayern.
Absolutely. So this is the thing I was telling Ben. I was saying, our producer, by the way, for those of you listening, I was saying, there's too many. I wish we could, this could just be one league, but it is really difficult because I had to look over Serie A, FA Cup, La Liga, league. So the only one that's missing out of these big ones is the Bundesliga, and there were several performances we could have put in.
To be honest, I'm quite surprised you have Rashford there, to be honest. I mean,
He
I understand that he's got 2 goals. Of course, Mbappe did score 2 too. But, listen.
Were they fair?
I mean,
still
he
goals.
scored 2. I mean, if you go to the records, it's added to his goal numbers.
Doesn't matter. I'm going for authenticity and goals that
My
probably
man
should
said
have been.
authenticity. No, Sarah, you go just accept that, it's Real Madrid. Just don't say it's Kylian Mbappe. Just say
No,
Real
but Rashford scored 2 as well, so why would I not put Rashford in over?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, on a good day, maybe you would have just leaned towards Mbappe. But and remember,
To be honest, I was looking at other players in Real Madrid besides Mbappe that I was gonna put in, and I just don't think they had the best performance.
No, for me, we're just speaking about that upfront position now. It has to be obviously Kylian Mbappe.
But Rashford scored 2 as well, so why would it be?
No, obviously he deserves to get there. But
Harry Kane had a goal and an assist as well.
I mean, it's a goal and an assist compared to 2 goals.
See, you hesitated.
No. But what I'm saying is, if it was a whole different player from, say, for example, Real Betis, maybe a player scored 2.
Could have got in.
Oh, jeez, I wanted to put him in so badly, Alex.
So you see the way she just raised her voice. Oh, I just wanted to put it in so badly. Now she could have said the same for Kylian Mbappe because.
But I don't want to put him in badly.
No, it's because it's Real Madrid.
No, because the only player that I thought for Real Madrid that was performing on the day of was maybe Bellingham. But I thought with the midfielders here, they had a better weekend for what their team did. But I'm sorry, both goals for Mbappe, I don't care if they counted or not, they were controversial. So I'm not going to pick them. Say what you want. Next week, maybe I'll put entire Barcelona 11. But guess what? It's up to me. It's not up to Clinton. So I don't care.
Something that I know Clinton would have put this player up front, and he scored for the first time in what feels like a while, Victor Boniface.
Yeah, actually, Victor Boniface did score. He did score, but, like I said, this is, first of all, this is Bayer Leverkusen, number 1. And number 2, in my opinion, and in as much as he's my friend, I'm just not been very happy with what has been going on between himself, the club, and the coach. I feel like he deserves more time. He deserves to have that, let him have the opportunity to have that Victor Boniface we used to know. Because he's not been starting, sometimes he doesn't even play at all. It's almost like that whole steez that he was able to build, over the last season has just kind of dropped since the whole rumors of him going to Saudi.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to put Danny Raba up there, Alex Ashford.
That would have been...
That's so many people you wanted. Maybe we should just...
I would have just done it for Sporty, and we could have put a Sporty logo underneath.
Maybe next time if you want to create this list, Sarah, maybe have Rashford and then Mbappe corner, Lamine, and then maybe your second runner-up. Maybe have like some...
I do honourable mentions, like I said.
Yeah, exactly.
Moise Kean, Cucho, Hernandez, Harry Kane.
One last one, if I may, Victor Gyökeres, who scored 2 at the weekend.
You know what? I had to stop at thinking of the Portuguese league because I saw Gyökeres and I thought, okay, well, where do we draw the line? But no, absolutely, he's right. You want me to pick 11 players from one weekend? You know how many football matches there are? This is actually a joke. What this is going to just get people to attack me for simply not being able to put 100 players in on a pitch. But I actually found it really difficult because it's too hard to only pick 11 players. And like I said, Copa Libertadores starts tomorrow, so it's going to be
I think we need to start a whole different part of this show where we have the 11 worst players for the weekend.
So actually, our one of our graphic designers who actually made this, shout out Danny, asked me if I can do that next weekend, so next Monday. So not only will I be giving you who the best performers are, I'll be giving you the worst.
Oh,
it's
man.
all Real Madrid.
I won't be surprised, Imagine Courtois getting there.
Okay, let's try it really quickly. Anyone stick out? I'm not asking for an 11, but is there anyone who had a stinker over the weekend that you immediately think should make the worst performing 11?
Erling Haaland.
But he scored those.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if you score. You could have scored a penalty. It doesn't mean you had the best game. And this is the
No,
problem
but
with
I'm
football.
not saying it doesn't mean you had the best game, but he didn't have the worst game.
No,
I'm talking about
but for an Erling Haaland caliber of player, I was disappointed.
Can I throw a name in there?
Please,
Oh,
Alex.
Jesus.
Hey, no. The funny thing.
No,
hearing it
I'm
from Alex
so
is really-
scared. Why?
No.
Why do you
I wanna
look
hear from
like
Alex.
that?
No, I want to hear from Alex, actually. Alex, hey, let's hear from you.
Well, there's two.
Alex, please,
No, I hate
Alex,
it.
first. Alex, I want to be ready for you first because, this is you listening, speaking about the bad side of players, right?
No.
Right.
No, I'm
Alex.
only doing it to wind you up.
No, not wind me up.
Oh,
Alex, you're
geez.
saying it because you're sincere. You're not saying it because of KlintonCod. Alex, say it because you felt like this person was rubbish this weekend.
I thought they were disappointing Adamola Lookman against Fiorentina.
Fine. Well, they lost. I don't care.
Come on, you cannot say fine, Sarah. Wait. What did you just say?
What do you want me to say? Adamola Lookman, he didn't play that well.
Hold on.
Get him.
Wait. Alex, are you serious, right? No, are you saying because of me to wind me up?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's
Good.
partly that, but it's also partly because he didn't play very well.
No, you are
I am winding you up a little bit, but I could also pick Victor Osimhen. Obviously, they lost Galatasaray losing to Besiktas.
Alex. I think you're beginning to have issues with Nigeria.
That one I'm just winding you up.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't put.
No,
it in
you're
there.
winding me up for the two. Well,
No,
all right,
yeah,
let's hear your two players now.
I'm winding you up
Let's
with
hear your two.
both.
Guys, please, if you're on YouTube, please, we want to hear the worst players this weekend. I think this is really the exciting one.
Okay.
And we'll get Chantel to tell us.
Okay.
But now be serious. I know you've mentioned two Nigerians to wind the Nigerian in
Okay.
the Sporty Show. So now let's hear your real players.
Okay, Adamola Lookman, I think, deserves a mention in that team.
I love it.
And then
Cause problems.
if I was to pick a second, maybe, just because they lost 3-0, but Leno.
I was going to say Bird Leno and Santiago Jimenez.
Yeah.
You can't miss that penalty. It's unfortunate. He could have helped Milan against Napoli. And you expect with who he is as a striker, you have to score that. Obviously, we know penalties go either way, but it's a reason. When we say they had a stinker, they're not bad footballers, but obviously you have to pick a reason. No, you know what? I'm not going to say it because all of you, because there's Clinton. Who are you thinking of?
No, I've said it. My first one is Erling Haaland.
Okay, who's
Like
your
I said-
second one?
Like I said, I expect so much from him, and
Fine.
especially him not scoring the kind of goals I know that an Erling Haaland would literally bury. He's so easy. My second one.
Say it.
I don't have a second one.
Oh, I thought you had one and you
I was just very angry. I when I was watching the Manchester City game, I was looking so forward to seeing a lot of goals, especially when we saw that the opportunities were clearly there and they were just not taking them. Yeah. Oh, and do you know somebody whom I believe I would have added when you were talking about the best 11 for the weekend on the left wing? I know you. Was it DeMarco you took for the left wing? No, sorry, that was
Eze.
No, sorry. Left back.
That was.
No,
It should have been Azpilicueta,
Azpilicueta.
but it was Di Lorenzo, wasn't it?
Okay, especially.
Yeah,
with
but it
that-
was just because it was a graphic mistake.
especially with that goal he scored. However, there was somebody whom I believe he may have not scored, but he had 2 assists. And the moment he came into the game, he was a total game changer for Manchester City. Do you know what I usually call him? Because sometimes I don't know how to pronounce his name, right? Okay. But I always call him Arakeli.
Kvicha?
Rakeli. Is it Rakeli? Rakeli or something?
Miles.
No.
What?
Are you talking about Matt O'Reilly?
O'Reilly, that's the
O'Reilly.
one. O'Reilly, yes.
Are you kidding?
I always call him
Where was the
Arakeli.
K coming from?
No. I know. But see, listen.
Wow.
No, but listen. The moment my man came into the Manchester City game, if you guys saw the game,
Nico O'Reilly.
Sorry, sorry, who are we talking about? Because we've called him 3 names.
Nico O'Reilly.
Matt O'Reilly.
I'm getting my
For
O'Reillys
me,
mixed up.
all try the game. I kept on shouting Arakeli. Sorry. No,
What is that K?
I don't
All
know.
right.
But
What?
my man came in, Sarah. I've never seen any left back in England that young that's able to change a whole game the way my man changed it. It was literally 2 subs.
No, he was superb.
He came in, and then it was I don't know who came in first, him and Omar Mamouche. Both of them came, And both of them literally, Omar Manchu obviously scored, and he gave the 2 assists. But to me, he's the one I'm watching in the Premier League as we speak. There's no any other player I'm looking out for. The way he came, the way he was running with the ball, he was that good.
All right.
If not for Aspel Loqueta scoring, he would have gotten there for me.
I'm happy. That's fine. I like it. I appreciate it. So yeah, we're going to start doing this every Monday, or at least I'm going to try to. And then I'll also come with the worst performers of the weekend. So hopefully it should cause a little bit of chaos and some interest. But let's take a look at this next video, looking at what's going on around the world of sports.
In today's edition of All Around the World, we're bringing you the drama, the brawls, and the problematic headlines everyone's talking about. First up, football sensation Sam Kerr found herself in the spotlight off the pitch. The Chelsea and Australian star was acquitted of racial harassment charges after an incident involving a London police officer. Meanwhile, in sunny Spain, Malaga Football Club is attracting heavyweight investors. Both Fenway Sports Group, owners of Liverpool FC, and Qatar Sports Investments, holders of Paris Saint-Germain, are vying to acquire the club. This battle of titans could usher in a new era for Malaga, potentially restoring its former glory. Over in Scotland, Rangers FC faced disciplinary action from UEFA. The club received a suspended stadium closure and a hefty fine due to fans displaying a racist banner during a Europa League match. Rangers are taking a firm stance, issuing lifetime bans to those involved and urging supporters to uphold the club values. And finally, in the world of basketball, tensions ran high as the Pistons and Timberwolves clashed in a game that saw 7 ejections following a brawl that spilled into the stands. The NBA community now awaits potential disciplinary actions as both teams reflect on this intense matchup. And that's a wrap on today's global sports headlines.
Did they... What is happening? Oh my God, sorry guys. We were just told we had 6 minutes. Maybe I was gonna have a sip of water and, well, it was more like 6 seconds, Alex. Nua, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So tell us, what's going on?
What do you guys want to talk about first?
I saw the first story of somebody getting, I don't know, there was some, I think that's the one I want to get into. Could you just clear me on what's going on that one?
The Sam Kerr incident?
Yeah.
Do you know who Sam Kerr is?
I don't want to know, but just maybe, just tell me what Sam Kerr did.
Okay,
sorry, who's Sam Kerr?
So
Kerr.
she's a Kerr.
Sam Kerr.
Sam Kerr.
She's an Australian footballer that plays for Chelsea.
Yes, she
one of the
plays
best
in a
female
women's
football
team.
players.
She's the best in the women's team.
She is. She's actually
Okay, I want to actually know who she is.
She's actually the captain of the Australian team.
Okay.
She's really good at what she does. One of the best football players there is out there. And she actually got into an incident at the beginning of January. She vomited in a taxi, apparently because she was wasted. Okay. And then the taxi called the police came, and then she racially harassed the policeman. Do you want to know what she said?
What did she say, please?
She said, "You are stupid and white."
Wait, is she like me?
Is she like you?
I mean, like,
You mean colored?
Yes.
She's not Nigerian.
She's mixed descent. She's half Australian, half Indian. She's mixed race.
right. And she said, because you are
She said
stupid.
you are stupid and white.
So, I mean, which that's very odd. Like, she's trying, I mean, I don't know, maybe she's drunk, definitely.
I think more than I think for me, I didn't understand why she would get charges on that.
I mean, she should be getting charges on that.
Why?
Yeah, because I think, like we always say on this show, this is year 2025, and racism has no business in the world, not just in football.
She wasn't really racist. She didn't say anything against.
I mean, was the
being
guy
white.
was
She
the
was
the
you're
guy
stupid and white.
was the guy painted like you know maybe
He was white.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like that's racism to me.
Well, I see how, from a legal standpoint, you could say that.
If somebody said to me, "You're stupid and black," I'll be punching your
it's not the same
nose.
thing, though.
No, you see, but this is my problem, right? Why is it only black people that should if somebody is racist to a white person, that should also be racism, right?
Why are you looking
No, I'm looking at you because
the one
no,
person here.
no, but let's be. I understand that racism obviously is pointed towards us. Yeah, very understandable. But for me, I feel like we should be in a fair world where it shouldn't just go just one way. It shouldn't be a one-way track.
It's not about equality, it's about equity. It's racism today is not just, oh, he's white, he's black, and they're different. It's about why do black people get protected? It's because of history. Because racism is history also.
Yes, of course.
White people don't have a history behind them
Okay.
of them being racially harassed and abused.
Yeah.
But black people do have that, and
Okay.
indigenous people do have
So
that.
now it's our turn to pay back.
It's not about payback.
Alex,
She was
you're
just
white.
drunk.
I am.
Quiet over there.
No, but listen, let's be very. I mean, I know that's not the only story you have here, but in my opinion, I think we should live in a world where we should just be happy with everybody. I understand that
Absolutely.
a lot of
I
things
agree.
have happened in the past, and in my opinion, we are all the same. Okay, if I pierce into Alex's skin, I'm sure your color is going to be what is in mine, right? It's going to be.
I'm pretty sure it'll be red.
It's going to be red, right?
Maybe she felt, well, have you ever took it this way? Maybe she thought she was being discriminated against, and that's why she was like, oh, you're white, because like you're taking this against me.
Was she arrested for speeding?
No,
What was she arrested for?
she vomited in a taxi cab. In
Okay.
a cab.
I mean,
is
but
that against the law?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
It's not, it's just, it got into a dispute between her and the taxi driver, and then the police was called. They arrested her without knowing the situation.
So why are they not arresting the taxi driver?
Well, because, I think it's because they knew who she was.
I'm sorry to say, because the situation here sounds very domestic rather than something that should be going.
I feel like
this
we're missing pieces of it, if I'm honest. But
Yeah, absolutely. I feel.
Well,
so too.
she, if you want to know by the law, she's innocent. She just got her, answer back, and apparently she's not charged.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, on that note, that is it for us today. Another 2 hours have come and gone. Guys, we're back again tomorrow, and we have a big one. Real Madrid hosting Real Sociedad in the Copa del Rey, second leg of the semifinal. KlintonCod, you're going to be there?
Absolutely, man.
All right. Well, we're going to be doing pre-match, Alex, post-match, halftime report, the usual. And Nua, thank you for being here. Chantal, Lucrezia, thank you as always. We're back again tomorrow, guys. Same time, same place. Copa del Rey action tomorrow. So make sure you're here. Until then, as always, enjoy the football.
Eh, boy. You are not stupid. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Boo!
In today's edition of All Around the World,